This is May 6, 2022. This is the Arboretum in Odessa, Ukraine. And the residents of Odessa enjoying a beautiful day, able to get out and enjoy the day. Weather that's so favorable to folks that want to do that here is not so favorable to the Ukrainian forces fighting further south and east of here. Actually favors the Russian heavy equipment, tanks, and other heavy weaponry, which, as the ground dries up and the weather warms up, is no longer road bound. So that may favor some temporary Russian successes east and south of here. But in this area, residents are pretty much able to go back. There's a lot of traffic, able to enjoy their days and get out finally. Everybody remembers that's a very different scenario from early on in the war. When this is Odessa is very much on the Russian hit parade. This was very much on the Russian hit list, and there were expected assaults by sea and land. On land, the Russians did attempt from the Mykolaiv direction, and they were soundly thwarted and sent back, turned back. And by sea, most people are by now aware of the mysterious fires that broke out on various Russian ships. And these fires that sank the Moskva, the flagship of the Russian Navy in the Black Sea. And has obliged the Russian Navy to withdraw. For some reason, they've decided that this mysterious outbreak of unexplained fires requires the Russian Navy to withdraw from out of the range of the Ukrainian shore-to-ship missiles. But there was never any attack by sea against Odessa, and the likelihood now is ever more remote. So the other possible avenue of attack against Odessa was the so-called breakaway region of Moldova. I believe that's called Transnistria, and there is a force, both Russian and of separatist forces there, and it was thought, or it is thought, that an invasion of the Odessa region could be attempted from that direction. But the size and the strength of the opposing forces there are such that it's quite likely that, given Ukrainian forces in this area, that not only would they be repulsed, but it's possible that the Ukrainian forces would then take over this Transnitsia area and be able to turn it back over to Moldova. In any event, Odessa residents, what they have to deal with, Mykolaiv still gets occasional missile attacks, may well come under physical attack at some point again. But the Odessa residents, what they have to deal with are things like air raid sirens going off and the occasional missile being lobbed in their direction. But obviously it's not stopping life from going on. And things are not back to normal, or back to the way things were before the war, but to the extent possible, people are living their lives that way. The air raid sirens is something that people just get used to, and they go off at any time of day or night, and not that people don't realize the nature and the seriousness of the threat, but by and large, the stoicism of the people just kicks in and they go about their business. So this type of weather, the warming weather and the drying, much drier conditions that have prevailed for, it hasn't been completely dry, but for the last 2 weeks it hasn't been extremely wet, and the temperature certainly moderated So that may temporarily favor Russian forces in the east and south. And but actually, this is of a piece with the fact that the Russians have made some advances. It is in some ways of a piece with what happened in the Kiev area. So, for several weeks after the initial invasion, Russian forces advanced into the Kiev region, and they expended so much of their weaponry and ammunition that the Ukrainians chose their time and place and struck back. And they struck back with such a force that the Russian forces ultimately turned and fled. And in that process, we know that the Russian forces inflicted their damage essentially to civilian targets. And they carried out their horrific terror campaign and their pillaging and looting and raping and murder of civilians. So this is what they know best. And no doubt if they make temporary advances in the east and south of Ukraine, that's the kind of thing that the Ukrainians can expect to find in the aftermath of the Russian invasion. But that's the situation they find themselves in now. And the inevitable result is that when the Russians spend themselves and their weaponry and their ammunition in the east and south, as they did in the Kiev area, that they will turn and flee as effectively as they did there. And if there was one thing that the Russians were very good at, it was turning around and fleeing back to their borders, to their safety within Russia and Belarus. Putin's illness. So Putin is anticipated to have something in store, some big surprise. May 9th is the Victory Day, the day that the old Soviet Union had tremendous celebrations for victory over Germany in World War II. Something that was well worth celebrating. But it's anticipated that Putin will have his surprises for the world and Ukraine on May 9th, coming up on Monday, just 3 days from now. If I had to guess, I would say that the Ukrainians have their surprises in store for the Russian military as well, for May 9th. Just a hunch. But and Putin's illness is he's suspected of having a number of serious physical ailments, from cancer to Parkinson's, and that all may well be true. But I think they are all symptoms of a profound spiritual sickness, that one has embraced evil to the extent and to the depth that Putin has, that it can't help but have physical manifestations, and that this spiritual illness has only one outcome. The most profound statement I heard on this subject was from a woman who was returning to the Lviv area. She has a home there. She lives in the States with her husband, but was returning to Lviv to visit her apartment and to help the town people plant trees and flowers. And she said that she believed that pure evil had visited her land. And I can't help but believe that that's about the truest statement I've ever heard on this entire matter. So Putin's spiritual sickness, his megalomania, his paranoia, is only one outcome for him. And sadly, he's taken the Russian nation with him, and what may be the future of Russia. At this point, sad thing to even contemplate. It's not good. Oh, there's the air raid sirens right on cue. So let's see how people react to the air raid sirens going off in Odessa. Odessa, Ukraine, May 6th. Slovo Ukraine.